Hi, everyone. My name is Alice Morrison. I am the co-executive director of policy and development for Friends of Family Farmers. And I am here today to tell you a little bit about how to track the legislature. We're about to enter our 2024 short legislative session here for the state of Oregon. And we have some online tools through the legislature's website to use to get the information that you need to make decisions about when to testify, when to write to your representative or senator, or how to get involved in this civic process. So here you see OregonLegislature.gov. This is the front page of the legislature. It has a lot of helpful links. We are going to focus on OLIS today, the Oregon Legislative Information System, OLIS. But you can also see press releases here, search bills and votes and how folks did. You can have all of the Capitol meetings recordings if you'd like to watch those, and the legislative calendar, which is very helpful for knowing the progress of your favorite or least favorite pieces of legislation moving through the building. We are going to focus on OLIS today. And so this is the front page of the Oregon Legislative Information System, olis.oregonlegislature.gov. And as you can see, the front page will always tell you what is happening today. We are recording this video on Friday, February 2nd, so before the legislative session, the 2024 regular session has begun. So if we want to look ahead to next week, we would pick a new date. You can either just go to the next day here, or you can select from the little calendar. We're going to go to Monday, the 5th, and you'll see that there are a lot more things scheduled on Monday, the 5th than there were today, Friday, the 2nd. You have all of your committee meetings that are happening here. Here are where this is the meeting location, which meeting room they're using at the Capitol, what time those are happening, and then also down below, these first readings, second readings, third readings, all of those things are what bills are scheduled to have their required readings done on the floor in order to be voted on. There won't be any in the very beginning of the session, but as we move forward, that will become important. If you are looking at this outside of a regular session time, make sure in the session section to choose the session that you're looking at, because bill numbers are repeated, committee times are repeated. You don't want to be accidentally looking at something 2 or 3 years ago. So make sure that you're selecting the session that you would like to see the most up-to-date information. We are in the 2024 regular session. It'll tell you that right here, whichever session you've chosen. So when we're thinking about these committee meetings, the one that I am most interested in right now is actually happening Tuesday, February 6th. It is the House Committee on Agriculture, Land Use, Natural Resources, and Water. So we have here this list of committee meetings. If you click into that, you will see the committee homepage. So this is our House Committee on Ag homepage. It has a list of the membership, especially pay attention to the chair and vice chairs, because you do have to address them in your testimony. It also lists the LPRO analyst and the senior committee assistant. These folks are very helpful if you are having trouble accessing any committee materials, accessing the testimony registration, or having trouble being seen or heard during if you're trying to testify remotely. So if it's during a committee meeting and you are trying to testify and you're having trouble, or if you are watching the live stream of a committee meeting and the sound is bad, the video is bad, you can't see or hear what needs to happen, I would recommend reaching out to the senior committee assistant. That person is likely to be able to help you with those AV things, so you can contact them at this phone number right here. And then if you are looking for more materials for the committee, or you're having problems before the committee meeting starts, the LPRO analyst is always a good idea. They're wonderful, helpful people who they are also the keeper of the timeline during the meeting. So during the meetings, they're a little bit busier than the senior committee assistant. So give these folks a call if you need help. All the scheduled meetings of this committee will be over here in the meetings tab. So they have one scheduled for February 6th at 3 p.m. And their normal meeting times will be in this regular meeting schedule down here. So this just means that every Tuesday and Thursday for the duration of session, there will be a House Agriculture Committee meeting at 3 p.m. in hearing room E. So this also will be further populated once the session begins, but assigned measures, you can see all of the bills that this committee is going to be working on in this section right here. If you would like to get regular updates on the happenings of this committee, or when things are assigned to them, or when they schedule meetings, you can e-subscribe to this committee. So you click that button, it will bring up a new page to subscribe yourself to email updates. I'm already subscribed, so I don't want to double subscribe, but you type in your email address here, hit submit, and then you will get regular email updates regarding this committee. You can also adjust your preferences or unsubscribe from the emails themselves. So the other thing that you might want to do on this page is click into one of the meeting details. So we just use this meeting link over here. We clicked on Tuesday, February 6th at 3 p.m. This is their agenda. They actually just released this today. So they have not assigned the measures to the agenda yet, but it'll give you an overview of what they're working on during this meeting. And this will be replaced by an official agenda when the regular session convenes. But this meeting page also has the live stream information. And this link right here is a lot of semi-helpful guides from the legislature on how to give testimony and all of those things. But if you would just like to give testimony, you can scroll all the way down to the bottom here, click to submit testimony. So when you have your testimony submission form, when the measures are assigned to the committee, there will be more information to choose from here. But make sure that you have the correct committee and that you're on the correct meeting date for the measure you're looking for. If you are having trouble with this, there is somebody to report that to at Testimony Tech Issues. But keep in mind that this form is only open for registering for oral testimony between when the hearing is announced up to 30 minutes before the start time of the meeting. So if your meeting is at 3 p.m. and you want to speak in support, opposition, or neutrality of a piece of legislation during that meeting, you have to register for that oral testimony via this form before 2:30 p.m. on that day. So 30 minutes before the hearing start time. If you're submitting written testimony, you can do so through a form just like this one, up to 48 hours after the start time of the committee, which means for this committee, if you wanted to submit written testimony on any of the bills discussed here, that you have up to, since the committee is happening on Tuesday, February 6th at 3 p.m., you have until Thursday, February 8th at 3 p.m. to submit that written testimony through OLIS. So that is how you find committee information. But what if you're just looking for one particular piece of legislation and you're not sure which committee it's in, or you just want to find that bill? So that's when you come up here to this menu and you click bills, and you have options to search. You can search the bill number. I know one of the bills we're following is HB 4060. And you type in the number, you go straight to the bill page. And this is about the Oregon Agricultural Heritage Fund. This one is part of that hearing in House Ag Committee on Tuesday at 3 o'clock. We'll have more information on our website about how to get involved in that. Here is the bill homepage. This bar up here is very useful. The overview is this page we're looking at. At the request of is where the sponsors are. This is a committee bill for the House Ag Committee. So that's why it says at the request of the House Interim Committee on Agriculture, Land Use, Natural Resources, and Water for Representative Ken Helm. He's the chair of that committee who made this a committee bill. There will be sponsors listed here later on. It's pre-session filed and the session hasn't started yet. This is the bill title. So, and declaring an emergency simply means that this bill will take effect immediately upon passage. Usually it's 90 days or the next January 1st, or you can have delayed starts to bill. But when you say declaring an emergency, it just means that it would take effect immediately upon passage. Then the summary is right here, and where this bill is located, once it has a fiscal impact or a price tag associated with it, it will be right here. If it generates revenue for the state, that would be in this line here. Then when it's assigned to committees, all measures right now, since the session hasn't started yet, are awaiting their first reading. But once they go through the first reading, they'll be assigned to committees. And then when they're referred elsewhere, that will be registered here. In the measure history section, that will show any actions taken on the bill, when it's assigned to committees, when it's voted on, when it has a work session, all that kind of thing. And if they had assigned it to that committee meeting on the 6th, that would appear right here. They haven't done that yet because they just sent out the notice right before we recorded this. Then if you want to read what is in this measure, you can go up to this text section, and it will have PDFs for all of the versions of the bill that have been accepted. So the introduced one, or if there are amendments that have been adopted, there will be, 4060-1 or 4060-2 or what have you. So those, once they're accepted, they will be in this text section. Analysis is a section where all of those impact statements will be once they have gone through, the Legislative Fiscal Office for the fiscal impact statement and all of those kinds of things. Amendments, this is where all amendments, regardless of whether they're adopted or not, will show up. If you'd like to read through those, see what's being proposed. Testimony, this is where testimony that has already been submitted will be displayed. So when we tell you that testimony is publicly available and it's part of public record, this is where you can see it. When there are recordings on the committee hearing, the committee websites associated with their different meetings that folks can listen to or watch for oral testimony, and all written testimony will be housed in this page in perpetuity. If there's an open meeting on this, a hearing on this bill coming up, and you want to register to testify, you click that button. There is not currently a public hearing associated with this bill, so that will change once it's associated with a hearing that has been scheduled. So a pop-up menu would have come up, and it's pretty self-explanatory. It's asked if you're doing it in person or remote. And register to testify is about oral testimony. So you're talking live in the meeting. If you want to submit testimony, that's written testimony. And the same pop-up saying it's not scheduled is going to come up when I click this. But there will be a way to submit your written testimony. You can do that via PDF, Google Doc, or there is a text box where you can just type it in as well. So also, other ways to find bills. If you don't know the bill number just outright, then you can use this bill text search. Keep in mind what you're searching though, because for example, when I type in agriculture and I'm only searching the bill title and the measure summary, I only get 4 bills. But if I'm searching the full text for anything that mentions agriculture, might be related, I get way more bills. I get 27 bills. So pay attention to what you're searching when you're looking for keywords. Then the last thing you can do is look up your bills via their sponsor. So if you have a legislator who is representing you, or you're interested in, and you want to see what they're working on, or if you heard like, oh, Senator Campos has a bill related to XYZ and you want to go look at it, you can go here to Senator Campos, and then you'll have chief sponsor or regular sponsor. Chief sponsor is a little bit more of a commitment for legislators. They are really pushing this bill forward, and sponsor tends to be more bills, and they think that they're signing on like, this is a good idea, we want this to go forward. So sponsor tends to be quite a few bills that folks have lent their support to. And then chief sponsor is a much shorter list. So if you're looking for bills based on your legislator, you can go through these lists and figure out what each of those folks is working on. I know we went through the committees on the front page based on the calendar. You can also access the committees through this committee menu. You have your Senate committees, your House committees, and your joint committees. Joint just means that there are both legislators from both houses, or from both. It's a bicameral committee. You got your representatives and your senators sitting together in this committee. And you can find all of that information in this menu under committees here. So also, the last thing I wanted to mention, when you're sitting on a bill page like this for HB 4060, just like with a committee, you can e-subscribe to a specific bill. So if you want to get updates on when this bill has amendments or is scheduled for a hearing or gets voted on or all of those things, you can e-subscribe here at the top in the right-hand corner of the bill page to make sure that you're made aware of those things via email. So lots of ways to get involved, and let OLIS be your friend for this legislative session. Thanks so much.